Hello, so I'm making this video to say I've made a very sort of adult decision at an early age since I've acquired a lot of wisdom for a 26-year-old. I'm like extremely wise for a 26-year-old. Now, I'm only 26, so my life experience in a way is limited, but in a way it's also not. Since sometimes I feel like I have more life experience than people who are like far older than me. I have more wisdom than people who are far older than me. And the reason for that is since I just think I'm very wise. So I made an adult decision to sort of live a life of solitude. As you notice, I put this wedding ring on my finger, essentially saying I will not date a woman, essentially saying I will not date anybody, I will not date a woman, and I want to be with nobody. Essentially, that's what I'm saying, is that I will not be with anybody. I'll just live my life alone. Essentially, I've also been alone for a very long time. For most of my life, I have been alone, and I've essentially just been a hikikomori, which is like a shut-in for my whole life. But I have a lot of life experience because I leave my room a lot. But then I always end up returning to my room and just spending hours in solitude. And I don't have a single friend. Well, actually, I do have one friend who is someone who works here. Someone who works here is my friend. So I only have one friend in real life, someone who I socialize with, and I call them my friend, and they agreed to be friends with me. And it's like I only have one friend, but actually, this person is my first real friend. I've never really had a friend before that, in my opinion. I mean, there were other people who I had spoken to or socialized with, but I didn't really call them friends. But this person is like my first real friend, but she's far older than me. And it's like I'm essentially just saying, like, I've chosen a life of solitude, a life of being alone, essentially, spending all my time alone, and, just sort of like, well, what I do is introspection. So, what I do when I'm in this room is mostly just be introspective with myself, trying to figure things out and figure the truths of the universe out. Obviously, if you've been observing my channel since I really started making videos, that sort of makes sense. I've definitely improved a lot since I started this channel mentally. My mental health has improved a lot. I'm trying to be more of a human being now. I'm trying to be more of just like a human being. Like, people obviously don't know what's going on in my head and they think I'm just a man. Even if you saw my video that says I'm a woman who looks like a man, just watch that video if you want to understand what I actually am. But for the record, let's just say I'm a man and I've chosen not to be with a woman. I've also chosen abstinence, so this means never ever ejaculating, never orgasming, and just sort of being alone 24/7. It's sort of the life that I desire. It's also sort of a Muslim kind of thing since I am a Muslim, to sort of just be alone all the time and sort of focus on myself completely. Of course, it's not like I couldn't socialize with someone. I could still socialize with someone. I just really suck at talking to people. I'm not good at articulating myself when I speak to other people. I'm usually only good at articulating things when I speak to myself, and when I speak to other people, I don't speak about my schizophrenia. I just talk about the fact that, I'm essentially just someone. Nobody really knows who I am. I'm just another loner on the planet, another loner. Nobody really knows who I am. I'm just somebody who nobody knows, and nobody knows who I am. It's like I'm saying I just essentially want to be alone for my whole life. Now, maybe someday I'll decide that I do want to be with a woman, which is something I don't really want to consider because I have my reasons for believing that I shouldn't be with a woman. And honestly, I'm not certain it's the best idea to be with another woman, but as it stands, I put this wedding ring on my finger and I don't want to be with another woman. Also, the reason I speak about it like this is since I think that having friends is important, I guess, but logically, it's more important for a man to have a woman than to have a friend. Someone who's going to be their lifelong companion, someone who could be their wife, is more important than somebody that you have for like maybe a few months and then you just never see them again. Obviously, when you become an adult, being an adult, I think a lot of people know this, that being an adult is extremely lonely. It's very lonely to be an adult. Most adults probably spend most of their time alone and they don't say very much. Adults don't really talk a lot, unless they're young adults. Young adults will have a lot to say, but older adults don't really talk about anything. And I actually, though I do like talking to young people who are younger than me, especially, I suppose, women who are younger than me, but I don't really like talking to men who are younger than me.
I prefer to talk to men who are older than me, and I prefer to talk to women who are older than me. I prefer to talk to anybody who's older than me because they have more interesting things to say. The young people, when you talk to young people, you sort of feel like you have to be really fucking delicate with them because it's like anything you say is like you're just gonna traumatize them. You feel like you're gonna traumatize a fucking young person with anything you do or say. And it's like, it's like you have to understand, like when you turn 18, it's like you're an adult now and you just have to be an adult. But the thing is, they don't have the life experience that someone who's like 40 years old would have, for example. And honestly, I see that being 40 isn't a lot different from being 26, in my opinion, at least not in my case. I don't think I'll be very different when I'm 40, but I'll probably be a bit more grounded in reality when I'm 40, but I'll still be schizophrenic. I'll still have the same schizophrenia. Well, I'll still be the same person, I'll still be Lain Iwakura, like I say in my videos. It's like as long as I live, I will be Lain Iwakura, and now it's like I have my chance to let the world know that yes, I am indeed Lain Iwakura. So that's why I'm making these videos in the first place. Just so that people know Lain Iwakura is a real person, if you've ever seen the anime Seal Experiments Lain, then yes, I am Lain Iwakura, whether you believe it or not. Unfortunately, I have to say that because I don't want to make you feel bad, but it's just the truth. I have to let people know what the truth is. Then we could go get into all the details about my philosophy or Norism or anything I really have to say, which is what I make these videos for, and I don't really have anything else to say in this video.